Sam Harris begins waking up by challenging the assumption that spirituality requires religion. He argues that deep experiences of well-being, unity, and transcendence are not exclusive to religious contexts. As both a neuroscientist and experienced meditator, Harris invites readers into a secular path to spirituality. He distinguishes between faith and spiritual insight, claiming that one can live a spiritual life without believing in God, miracles, or dogma. The purpose of the book is to explore how consciousness, awareness, and mindfulness can lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world without relying on religious myths. Lesson: true spirituality is about recognizing the nature of mind and consciousness, not about adhering to supernatural beliefs. Chapter 1: Spirituality. In this chapter, Harris defines spirituality as the science of happiness, self-transcendence, and inner transformation. He explains that spiritual experiences, such as losing the sense of self or feeling deeply connected to everything, are real, measurable phenomena. These moments of awe or transcendence can be triggered by meditation, psychedelics, or extreme beauty, and are often misunderstood as proof of God. Harris clarifies that while the experience is real, the interpretation doesn't need to be religious. Lesson: spiritual insight is not about believing in things. It's about directly experiencing the mind in its raw, pure state. Chapter 2: The Mystery of Consciousness. Harris explores the enigma of consciousness, asking, what is it that allows us to feel alive, to be aware? He distinguishes between unconscious processes, like digestion or sleep, and conscious experience, where we actually feel and think. No one knows how or why consciousness arises, but it's central to the human experience. Harris emphasizes that everything we know, do, or believe is filtered through our conscious awareness. Therefore, understanding consciousness is the first step to understanding ourselves. Lesson: consciousness is the foundation of all we experience. Exploring it is the most direct path to spiritual awakening. Chapter 3: The Riddle of the Self. Here, Harris tackles the illusion of the self, the feeling that there's a you behind your eyes, steering your thoughts. He draws on neuroscience and personal meditative experience to argue that the self is not a stable entity, but a mental construct. When we meditate deeply, this illusion fades, and we see thoughts arise and pass away on their own. The sense of I is merely a narrative that emerges from mental activity. Lesson: the self is an illusion. Recognizing this leads to freedom from ego, suffering, and attachment. Chapter 4: Meditation. This chapter dives into the practical aspects of mindfulness meditation. Harris introduces Vipassana, technique that involves observing thoughts and sensations without judgment. The goal is not to stop thinking, but to become aware of thinking as a process. Over time, we begin to see that we are not our thoughts. Harris describes moments of clarity where the self disappears and only awareness remains. He also critiques common misunderstandings about meditation. It's not about relaxation or escaping, but waking up to the truth of consciousness. Lesson: meditation reveals that you are the space in which thoughts arise, not the thinker of thoughts. Chapter 5: Gurus, Death, Drugs, and Other Puzzles. In this eclectic chapter, Harris discusses spiritual teachers, psychedelic experiences, and the fear of death. He warns against fake gurus and cults, while acknowledging that some teachers have deep wisdom. He shares personal experiences with psychedelics like LSD and psilocybin, describing how they can temporarily dissolve the ego and reveal powerful insights. Harris also addresses the fear of death, arguing that understanding the illusion of self changes how we relate to mortality. Without the ego, the fear of death lessens, and we live more fully. Lesson: direct experiences, whether from meditation or psychedelics, can radically shift our view of self, death, and reality. Final reflections: living without illusions. As the book closes, Harris emphasizes that waking up is not about accumulating beliefs, but subtracting illusions. True freedom comes from letting go of the self, observing thoughts as they arise, and cultivating a quiet, spacious awareness. He encourages readers to engage in daily meditation, question their assumptions, and stay open to experience without clinging to identity. In doing so, we begin to live not as separate egos, but as conscious awareness itself. Lesson: the path to awakening is about shedding illusions and living fully in the present moment, without clinging to identity or belief. Key takeaways for the audience. 1. Spirituality. doesn't require religion. It's about exploring the nature of consciousness. And 2, the self is an illusion. Recognizing this can free you from ego and suffering. 3, meditation is a powerful tool. It helps you wake up to reality as it is. 4, consciousness is the core of experience. It's worth studying deeply. 5, true insight is experiential, not theoretical, but something you feel directly. In a world distracted by noise and ego, waking up offers a quiet but revolutionary insight. That peace, clarity, and profound meaning are already within us. We don't need to join a religion or follow a guru. All we need is the courage to sit still, pay attention, and discover the truth behind our thoughts. As Sam Harris shows us, awakening isn't about believing in something. It's about seeing through everything.